Hey folks, and welcome to the Pipnotic Symposium on the 6th of December 2019. Today we're going to have a look at some supply and demand theory in our in-depth videos that we're doing here every Friday. So today we're going to talk about, obviously, supply and demand, and then we're going to also focus on where price is likely to turn. Because if you're looking at a price chart and you're seeing price move higher and lower and you're eyeballing potential sell and buy levels, I mean, not all of these areas are created equally. And so we're going to have a look at a way that you can assess whether an area is going to hold or not, with a few small tips. Okay, so if we look at this piece of price, so this is the dollar franc. Today we'll focus on this chart. I'm going to try and keep this slightly short. I mean, you want to focus, your eye has to focus on, I mean, the Pipnotic software draws it as green candles, so you want to focus on kind of green candles, and if you don't have green candles, like I do, then you can just look at price movement away from an area. And if you look from the left side of the chart to the right side of the chart, you can see that price had a really tough time moving above and beyond this price level here. You can see we moved up into it here, we left very quickly. We moved up again, we left quickly. We move again, we left quickly. And so this is telling us that we have something going on at this price level that is attracting sellers at this level here. Okay, and so this is what I refer to as the beginning of the sell zone. And so while a lot of people are saying that you can't trade areas that have been tested multiple times, and I completely agree with this, but you are using these moves up into an area or down into an area and then these quick departures as kind of a thermostat as to high and low levels that is attracting people to engage in the market. And you can see this very clearly here. Price is moving up and then it's leaving. And so this is telling us that price levels above here are attractive for whatever reason. Okay. And if we look lower, you'll notice that we have something similar going on. And this is around this price level here, how we had price move up. We came down to the area we left twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, and 6 times. So price has been down to this area of support many times and left. Does that mean that we buy now? No, it doesn't. But it means that prices below here are attractive, which brings our attention to this area of demand just here below price. And this is an attractive area because when price left this area of demand, we were unable to return to it. Okay, so we had a few attempts, 6 attempts, but we did not manage to move back into this 98.12 area. And so this is telling us that this is a very attractive price for the pound, sorry, the American dollar, Swiss franc. Okay, and also price moved really aggressively down to this price window. We sat and distributed liquidity to buyers, which drove price high, and we have not been back since then. Okay, so this is a really interesting area for us for that reason. Price came down, we distributed some liquidity, it was bought by the buy side, and then price left. So this is a nice area to watch. So keep your eye on this level and then see what happens when price comes down here. And additionally, if we look a little bit lower, then we have this all-time low just down here where price managed to come to, and then price left, and then we had a slingshot that was pulled back, and then we left. And notice that the slingshot here lined up nicely with the slingshot here. So this is again telling us the same thing, that prices below the lows, let's move this back here, below the lows of these are attractive prices and will attract some buyers. Okay, so you want to look for these turning points in price, where price moves to a level and then leaves. And if it does it many times, it's just telling you that there's confirmation that prices above that level are attractive to sell and prices below this level are attractive to buy. And I want to re-emphasize that it doesn't mean that you're selling here. It just means that prices at this level and higher are attractive prices. And we're not buying here because price has been here many times before, so liquidity is dwindling, but it's telling us that prices beyond this point here are attractive. Okay, and so this is what we want to look at. So if we have a look at this area here, this is a very nice area to buy, as we mentioned. If we look at this one here, Price left, we moved sideways a little bit, and then we kind of sat around in the air for quite some time, didn't we? We didn't really move quickly away, which tells me that there's not a lot of interest to buy here, or there wasn't until this happened here. This is fresh demand. Okay, price left, move back into this area, we left, and now we're looking to return to it. We have this area here which I like. Price came down, we moved sideways for a little bit, and then we left. But what I'm going to do here is we're going to have a look at this on the hourly chart, so we can see what exactly is going on inside that little price pattern. It's just here. So if we remove this now, let me remove the analysis so we have clean charts. Okay, so now we have this, and notice here how price came down, we gapped down probably over a weekend, and then we moved up, and we have not been back since. This is the area we saw that's higher. This is the area that's lower, that is also very attractive. And notice again here that we have the beginning of a buy zone. Our price came down, we left, we pulled a slingshot back, we went higher. We're kind of moving sideways here, there's a bit of contraction, and then price has to move. Price is driven lower to attract buyers. We found some buyers down around these levels, and we left. And the same thing kind of happening here. We had price contraction, we kind of move, we start advertising cheap prices, people jump on board, and then it moves higher. But notice here that has price been back to this price level historically? And the answer is yes, it's been back to this price level here. Okay, so there's a lot of trading in this area here. So this becomes less attractive to me. I think we'll certainly see a reaction when we come back to this area, but on this price chart, on this time frame, it becomes very clear that we've already had price visit these price levels historically and kind of sit in there. I mean, there's no demand in here at all. Okay, so this is just telling that story. So if we have a look here, this is more interesting because we had the beginning of the buy zone, which is here. So price left, we came close to it, and then we left. So this is telling us here that we have buyers below here, and this is also the low, as you can see. If we zoom out a little bit, we have no prices below this level here to the left or to the right. So this is fresh areas of demand here, and you can see if we put an area to buy it here, and we ensure that our stop has received a lot of protection by putting it into black space, as you can see just here. I think these trades are probably going to work out nicely, nice enough for us to be able to take out a profit should price respect our area. Okay, so that's what we have there. We have those two levels that are pretty interesting. So if we look above price, and we do have price moving around this area here. Let me zoom in a little, and we do have this here, and I like this here. And this is interesting because price managed to sit around in the area for a little bit, and then we left. What I don't like is that price has already been back to this area here. Okay, and so I mean, there's probably not a lot of supply here. This could be fresh supply, hence the quick departure. But price has already traded at these levels historically. And so again, this is a trade that you'd want to manage a little bit more aggressively should you decide to get in there. And if we have a look at this little price nodule, notice that we had wicks that went up quite a few times, and we did not manage to kind of close above the high of this distribution candle here. And so it's telling us that prices above this level are attractive for selling, hence the departure and move lower. So if we have a look on the smaller time frame, I can find it. MT4 is not very friendly when you want to go back and look at historical price. I don't even have historical data. Damn MT4. But you can see here that we had a pretty interesting departure from this area here. But notice that we didn't really have any massive departures. And so this would bring my attention to, rather it would make me feel inclined to look higher. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this, I'm going to remove this, I'm going to put a line at the highs, because this is going to tell us where the beginning of the sell zone is, and then we're going to look further left. We're going to look for higher prices that we can sell at. If you look here, okay, this is where price returned to. Okay, But notice there's nothing in here. There's no supply in here. There's no supply in here. And we see supply form from about this area here. Okay. This is like, I mean, price moving up in this area. We're kind of distributing liquidity. So yeah, we're selling here, and you can see the price reached levels of short orders here that put things out of balance, hence this move lower here. Okay, so there is an interesting imbalance that's occurring here, which is probably much clearer on the daily time frame. So let's have a quick look on the daily. Okay, here, and you can see that here, just here. Okay, so this is what we're looking at. Just here, there's no supply here. A little bit of supply here, and we do have the supply that we looked at here, and this is the one that I think is interesting, because this is where price left from. We had it's near the top, so it's near the apex of this move, so the high, and price came down, we sat down on a level, and then we cut away. So this is an interesting area for us to sell at. Okay, and so you can see that, I mean, price has already been around these levels, and if price is able to hang around in an area for an extended period of time, well, then there's nothing to do there. Okay, but we do have that fresh supply above price on the daily chart, so this is an area that I'll be watching and looking to sell out once price gets there. Okay, so if we have a look at some daily levels here, notice that we have this price move that came down, went down to the lows, went high, and now for this price move from, let me draw it from here to the high. Here we can divide the two sections or two sides of the market, and our sell side, or the sell half of the market, is here down to the low, and the buy side is going to be from here, from the low up to the high. Okay, so that means that we are selling on this side up here, and we are buying on this side down here. And so if our entry to buy is on this side of the box, then it's less interesting to us because we've already formed the high. And so now the reason that we had this low and we had this high here is because that we had demand in control, and now we're starting to eat back in to the demand here. And so this tells us that, or it tells me at least, that I wouldn't be interested in buying here or anywhere here. I would only be looking to buy at demand that I can see on this side of the chart. So this one here, and looks like we have something in here, and we have something down here. So there are a few areas that we could consider to buy it, but we need to be focusing on the demand that is located on the leg higher, not in the leg down. So this is not really demand, this is not demand, this is reactions to the demand being located over here. Okay, so just try and divide the chart like that, and you do that by, as I showed, identify a major low and a major high, then you divide the chart. Okay, and then you put your box up like this, and you have your green side, which tells us that we're only allowed to buy at demand on this side, we're only allowed to sell a supply on this side. Okay, and this makes it pretty clear for us, because here you can see that, I mean, price has already been back to this level here, this level here, and we have fresh supply up here, between here and here. Okay, so this could be an interesting area for us to sell. To buy, we could look to buy down here at the 95.80 area, or lower. We have a couple of levels on top of each other here, and we also have something in here. I can't see the details of it, but this looks like there's something down here. Okay, so these are some areas that we could look to buy. And so essentially, again, if we focus on what we said a little bit earlier, is we have price trying to move up into an area and then being rejected, moving up, rejected, rejected, rejected. This is telling us where we have the edge of the sell zone, and above that we have supply. Okay, so this is where we'll be selling. Okay, and so here you can see that we had an area, price level, price came to, we left, went a little bit deeper, left, went a little bit deeper, left, which brings our attention to, we have something in here, probably 4-hour demand just here, which has been tested, and so we can expect price to come to this price level or lower, which brings our attention to this fresh area of demand down here. Okay, good. Okay, well, I hope that kind of helps clear things up a little bit. Um, so number one, find the major swings. Number two, divide. Number three, know if you're selling or buying. And look for, number four, levels on each side. So buying at demand here and selling at supply over here. Okay, cool. I'm going to leave it at that. I hope this makes some sense and helps clarify some of the questions I've seen in the forum. And yeah, I'll catch you guys on Monday. Have a lovely weekend.